Welcome, everybody. Hey, let me get that down. Yeah, we want Taylor to show up too. How you doing, Taylor?
Good. I'm here.
I'm John Zidar. This is Taylor. I don't even know her last name. We call her
Uh-huh.
Taylor-ish. We
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
We are here for about an hour to take a look at stocks you guys are interested in. And I see you've got some already started here, and I appreciate that. It's good for you and it's good for me. Gives me a head start, and I can give you the most for your bang by getting them to me early. It has been a crazy day. I've been playing the market a lot here lately, been trying to change up what I do and how I do it, paying more attention to my own training. Honestly, I swear to God, it's funny how much I pass off to you all that I ignore. And I realized that the other day and I said, why don't you just do that? And it's been working a little bit better for me here recently. Too many computers on. Let me turn off the volume over here. All right, let me get my glasses on. We've got these lined up for you. And, sitting here in front of the computer day after day, putting out news all day long for you guys, trading, making videos, you end up with a lot of, let's call them vices, habits, and most of them are oral. So if you see me throw a toothpick up there, don't worry about it. I can still think and talk. So we're all good here. So
So
we
don't
are going
ask
to
me
jump.
about the toothpick. Don't say anything about the toothpick. Okay. Won't say
Yeah,
anything.
I'm not making any, he thinks he's a tough guy. I ain't got stuff. I'm weak. It's a vice.
All
I
good.
feel naked sitting here talking to you with nothing around. I have my vapes. I have my other legal smokable substances in my state. I have my coffee. So I have a lot of oral vices. Anything that allows me to keep my fingers clean. That's the whole point of, being on the computer.
Mm.
All right, we got the last one first and the first one last. I don't think so.
Huh.
There we go. So I'm going to trust my compadre there to throw up the right comments. I don't remember who brought this one up for us. Let me see. It is, no, it's not hit the like button. I was going to say LT
The
gave us that
underdog.
one.
The underdog did.
Oh, Underdog did right. Very early comment. I appreciate that. So we are looking at a penny stock on the NASDAQ. It is 29 cents. I didn't take that into consideration when I had my head start looking at this. You always want to consider any major exchange stock that's under a dollar is probably in hot water. That's a low under the dollar. That's way down there. You're under a dollar for too long. I used to think too long was 6 months. I have seen many filings that say you've been under for 30 days. It's like, whoa, we're getting strict here. So I never know how long is too long, but they're in hot water. And they get a warning. They get 6 months to get it up over a dollar for 10 consecutive days. They got to close. If they don't, they end up down on the OTC market like it's a prison. And they don't like it down there. It costs a lot of money to get back up onto the NASDAQ. So we need to check the 8Ks or 6Ks, whatever it's going to be for them. But we don't have time to go through it here. 29 cents dropped about 7% today. One of the benefits of trading on the major exchanges, they're free to trade. You don't get that on the OTCs, and you can trade in pre-market, aftermarket. Again, you can't do that on the OTCs. You feel like you got a lot more control. Speaking of a lot more control, they're monitoring these stocks a lot more. They're not blowing smoke up your skirt. The OTC stocks, we give them more trust than they deserve, and that's why they get more of our money than they deserve. So I've jumped into a few facts here. Taking a look at the news, we've got two pieces of news here about a drug that they've got, the NRX 101. They announced the licensure of the U.S. patent to support the drug for chronic pain. And then here on virtually the end of the month yesterday, they announced submission of the IND investigational new drug application with the FDA. This is the first thing you got to do for them to even start looking at the drug seriously. And then they had a purchase agreement here. It seems it was 1.2 million. Yeah, they got 1.2 million. An outside investor came in, bought a bunch of shares at 40 cents a share. They're 29 cents a share, right? So that means somebody sees it was worth 40. So, honestly, the price is not an accurate display of the value of a company. That is an accurate display of our sentiment of the value of the company. Don't trust this has anything to do with it. Same thing with the market cap. Market cap, as far as I'm concerned, has nothing to do with the real value of the company. Everybody's got a different amount of shares. Someone who has 2 billion shares and the price is a penny could look a lot more valuable than a stock that has 5 million shares is at 20 cents. It just isn't the same math. So I don't use those numbers. Fundamentals get down to how much money they're using, how much they're making, how much they're spending, how much they're paying themselves, how many companies are lining up with them, how many contracts do they have, are the revenues growing month after or quarter after quarter, year after year. Look for those token signs over and over again. Those are signs of growth. You want stems and leaves. That's the way I think of growth. What else did I
Mhm.
find for the company? Oh, we had some filings here I wanted to go through. We had an 8K come out August 14th. The company entered into an at the market offering with somebody else. They were getting $2 million from that deal. These are outside investors coming in. People are seeing value in the company. Speaking of seeing value in the company, the insiders are seeing it too. Chief scientist here, Javit Jonathan, just purchased on the 23rd 100,000 shares at 33 cents a piece. He owns these under a lot of different things. He's got himself, his company, his LLC, and all of them own shares. And it looks like he had another purchase on the 22nd where he bought 200,000 shares at 32.2 cents. So he's invested. So we see a lot of people coming in throwing money at this company right now. That's the big deal. Is there any respect from the investors? It's about even money. 1.5 million, 1.5 million. I mean, we lost like 20,000 shares today. Share structure, we don't know what the float is, but the outstanding share count's real decent. That's 70 million. Financials, are they making any money? Ooh, nothing annually, nothing quarterly. They got no money coming in as far as we can tell. And we've gone through all the financials or the filings there. So that's
Hey,
what from
John,
what.
how far back does your news go? What happened around May 25th of last year, 2022?
Ooh, we'll be lucky if it goes back that
Oh,
far.
okay. Okay.
Now it may because it can jump real quick. Nope, I stop on
Okay.
here. So we would have to do a Google there, but their filings go on indefinitely. There shouldn't be a stop there. What was it of last year, you said?
Yeah, 2022, May 25th.
I'm real close to it. There's July. There's a bunch of blanks there. Huh. Well, it's in this blank neighborhood right there. Well, no, we've got more here. 525. We got an 8K.
Okay.
They tell us in this press release, the company's pharmaceuticals announces data safety monitoring board update on the National Institute's health of a drug. Based on reviews, 75% of the target enrollment, most of which after 90 days. I'm trying to see any bad words or good words here. Safety matter critical, approximately 400 patients, most which had 90 days. I see news here about a drug, and I'm not seeing any words like past, top line results. I'm seeing
Okay.
a bunch of numbers that are tough to read here, but nothing looks bad from what I can see. I mean, I don't see the word failed or did not meet anything like that.
Okay.
It seems like they were doing good at whatever stage they were at. I can't even tell what stage it is, phase one, phase two, or phase three. They're not showing what that is here, but it looks like it's good news. So if you want to look at the chart, I'll dive around a little more, see if I
Okay.
can
Well, I'll
clarify.
show you what I'm looking at. So
Okay.
I always start back just like looking at the daily chart just to see its history and if there's been any stock splits or share splitting, anything like that, reverse splits, whatever. So this is what I'm talking about right here. From here to here, there was a giant drop. So went from closed that day at about 138 and then opened at 85 cents and went all the way down to 48.
On that day, also, they announced they were putting not much, but 3 million
So
more shares on the market,
well,
a
that could be
public
it.
offering.
Okay, because this is start of its downfall right here. This is where it went under $1 for the first time.
Oh, all the way back then.
Yeah, so it went all the way, but see, we have this gap, so that's why I have this highlighted. So this is what I do in like the major exchange and with regular you know, stocks that we trade. So there's a gap here, and we always say that the stock likes to fill that gap, and it did. It did fill it all the way back up. So I have this marked also, the $1 mark, because I know that that's really important to get back up there. So the all-time low was 27 cents, 0.273, and that was hit just the other day, Monday, and then last Wednesday. So this is looking super, super bearish to me. There's I mean, it had a lot of volume the other day. There must have been news that last Thursday it was a big, jump. So let
Yeah.
me bring it down to the 4 hour. So this was Friday, so into Thursday and Friday. So it must have been after hours and then into, yeah. So there's the 4 hour. Let me drop it down to like the 1 hour so we could see more of what's going on. So this is probably just like the last, I don't know, month or so. Let me turn on the high so we can see what's going on. So, I mean,
Oh, she's in a serious downtrend.
yeah, I'm seeing like lower highs. I mean, it's coming up a
Yeah, I
little
mean, it's
bit. I mean,
obvious. The nice
this
purple line there gives us an
yeah,
identity.
exactly. I mean, it's coming up and then it just comes back down. It comes up and then bleeds off. Comes up and then it's bleeding off. So this right here is your all-time low, 27.273. So watch out for that.
Yeah, that's about the only signal I would be looking for at this point is the
Yeah,
floor.
That's the floor. So I went all the way back in time and made sure of it. But it had a high before all that whatever happened. I don't know. I mean, it was trading pretty high back in the day. Let me go back to the weekly summary. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was trading. I
They
mean,
need to have a quick perspective button to
I
fit
think
the
there is,
screen.
but I don't know. So it IPO'd or whatever when it first came out, 2018 at like $9. Then it jumped all the way up here in the 40s or more. So anyway, there it is into perspective with the whole thing. So yeah, it's on a serious downtrend right now. So
Still.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be touching this at all
All right, let's see if
personally.
the next stock has hope. We
Okay.
appreciate you giving us a stock. We always hope you're going to bring us a hot stock. Most of you like to give us stocks that you're holding, and we would love to bring you light at the end of the tunnel, but that's not what we do here. We just report what we see. And if you haven't seen it and you own it, and I know you're looking in every dark corner, chances are we're not going to find any light either. So, either. Hope you don't take it personally. So our next stock, this is SELB, Select Biosciences. Did this come from Jason? I
It
think
did.
Jason,
Yep.
well,
I got it up on the
Jason gave
screen.
us a few there, even got excited, gave us one that wasn't even a penny stock. He's out there. He's looking at stocks all over the place, which is good. I like that. This is Selecta Biosciences at $1.23, just about 3% gains on the major exchanges. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's start just with the relative volume. It's down a little from 700,000 down to 488,000, kind of under the radar. Share structure, we don't know anything but the outstanding share count, 153 million. Financials, they've been growing nicely. Big jumps going from 6 million to 16 million to 85 million to 110 million. This is definite growth. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're talking about. Now, they stumbled here, but as we see in a lot of the videos we look at, the first quarter of 2023, predominantly most companies fell. So I got to figure it wasn't about the companies. It had more to do with the economy. So I'm just going to chalk it up to that. What I do see here is that their revenues, whatever it is they're doing, it doesn't cost them anything. They get to keep every single penny they make. That's good profit margin right there. Let's see what we got for disclosures. Let me see, what did I find, since that's what we're looking for. Piece of news. This came out pretty recent here, August 17th. This was their last quarterly results. That's about all the news we're getting here. Cash and cash equivalents, what they actually have in the bank, about $115 million. So they're holding a lot of cash. You can't call them broke. At Selecta, we remain committed to sell 212, a potentially unique and differentiated once monthly uricase based treatment option for patients with chronic refractory gout. which we believe has the potential to exceed 700 million in peak sales in the USA. So that's their hope in the drug. And they've got something else they're working with here. When they cover milestones, they get payments from people who have money they're investing in it. A BLA submission remains on track for the first half of 2024 under the 2020 agreement with Sobi Select. They are eligible to receive $615 million in remaining regulatory and commercial milestone payments. So that's money we get to look forward to, $615 million. Looking at the news to see if there was anything there I missed. Anytime. No, there's nothing else I missed. That's the only thing I had to show you. So I basically showing you everything we can see from this vantage point. You can always jump into the most recent disclosure. You're going to get the most information there. You can run around Google if you want to. You'll find some stuff there, maybe. But the disclosures give you the entire history of the company. Best place to start. Start in the disclosures. So let's take a look at ticker SELB.
Okay, so here's the chart. This is the daily, about a year's worth. So you can see we're in this kind of like this wedge here, and we hit a few times, and we just recently broke out of it. So this was right after that last earnings report came out. I don't know if you saw that number. This is their earnings,
Oh,
and this
okay.
is their revenue. So I don't know if that means anything. That was recent. That was on the 17th of August.
Right, the one we just took a look at.
Right. So
Yep.
it started running after that. Just one red day in there, all the rest green. And that
That's
was
that's not looking bad. That's
and
actually
all it
looking
did,
like a chance.
yeah, and all it did was come back and retest this trend line
Hmm.
here. So I
Which is
actually kind
what
of
you
like that.
want to see. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it broke out and then came back down to retest and then is on its way up. So let's look at 4 hour. See what we got here. Okay, so this is like what it's been doing over the last couple of months. So it's been was in this consolidation area, and then after this earnings came out, we just kind of came up, retested this, and have been running. So that's a good sign. That all these EMAs are starting to line up. We've got what 1, 2, 3 golden crosses there. So we just need this one to we just want this one to come up here.
Sounds like
So
Calvary Hill to me. Three crosses up on there.
so yeah, so this is the 4 hour, and you can see this is the 200, and we are like getting really flat here. That's a good sign. And all of these, the 9 is going to come up a lot quicker than the rest, obviously. So you've got the 9, 21, 200 here, and then the 50. So the next area of resistance, I would probably look at about like right around this $1.28 area. Didn't quite get there today.
Right?
So I would be looking at that. Otherwise, like, I think it could come back down here in this area and hang out a bit, but I think if we could
Cool.
get over this, then we
Yeah,
could
what's the
have a
next
solid
one up?
run.
Maybe just topping off that cap right there a little bit. Yeah, somewhere just oh no, up further. That big drop right there has got a floor it's sitting on.
What
Yep.
drop?
You had both of them, the top one and the floor. Yeah, both
Yeah,
of
yeah,
those you
yeah.
just had.
The floor is down here. Yeah. So the floor is way down here though. So the thing is though, if you got in here and it does come back down to the floor, make sure you have a stop loss in here, like around this area, because this is going to be almost 50% of your money if you got in here
Yeah,
and it did come down to the floor.
that is something
Okay.
we neglect talking about on here, and that's our fault. Smart risk management is using
Yeah.
stop losses, and I don't use them as often as I should. I always think I'm better and faster, and that's bull. I know that's bull crap. Stop losses, find that support and resistance, that line, and come right up
Over here.
underneath it. If it breaks it, now, yeah, you
Yeah.
can stop out, and that's what we're all fearful of.
Yeah.
Well, go a little bit lower then. That's the price you pay, but cover your butt. Put a safety net down there. If it breaks down and you weren't because you were taking a pee or you were talking to your wife or whatever, stuff happens all the time, don't it?
Yeah.
That's what stop losses are for. They're not guaranteed to work 100%, but they're better than nothing there. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure. I would say like the lowest I would probably let this go would be like a dollar, dollar one. But no lower
Right.
than that, personally. But even then, that's going to be a good chunk of your money, like 20% of it. So,
Right.
take
And that's
that.
a maximum loss. That's a
Yeah,
maximum
yeah.
loss.
I'm just saying this is
I
in the
agree.
illustration. So,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
she's
like
looking
it.
like she needs to be put on a watch list.
Mhm.
The volume's been starting to grow there
Mhm.
for better and worse. So when the volume
Good
starts
here.
coming in, this could be one to consider playing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, our next stock comes from no, that's that's I wrote that. Where did he come from? Jason? No. Or did it? Yes, Jason gave us another one. And you know what? I wasn't going to look at
What's the
this
next
one.
one?
Can you see me?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. We look at this one a lot, folks. And I like to look at different stocks, but you know what? We're looking for stocks that are hot. This is hot. I seen it, he's seen it, and he said, "Yeah, we talk about it a lot. Let's just move on." I looked at it. No, we're not passing on DNA. Yeah, we talk about Ginkgo Bioworks all the time because she needs to be watched. The company has had lots of news since just last week. They're doing good. The charts have had a lot of activity. Oh my God. When I looked at the chart, it's like, well, we've got to talk about it. Look at that. That's the dream run of a day. So, DNA Ginkgo Bioworks finished today at $2.34. She went up 4%. She's on the major exchange, New York Stock Exchange. Relative volume was up today from 21 to 29 million shares. So she's definitely not under anybody's radar. Share structure, there's a lot of shares here, 1.6 billion. They don't give us any more information there. The float could be up to 1.6 billion. It could also be considerably less, though I wouldn't put my hopes on that point. Financials for Ginkgo. Well, look at those revenues increasing. Wow. 54 million, 76 million. In case I didn't tell you, we got to add three zeros to any of the numbers. That's how I know it's millions. 313 million, 477 million. We're almost at a $500 million revenue. Quarterlies, steady. I mean, they're bouncing around a little. They got high lows, but they're hanging around $80 million every 3 months. So they're making strong revenues. Taking a look at what I may have found here. News. Like I said, this is 824. So, and today is 831. So this is news all in the last week. Uh, Concentric by Ginkgo and SIAR, International Livestock Research Institute, announced collaboration. I think we did cover that one. But Ginkgo Bioworks AI partnership with Google Cloud. That sounds familiar too. Maybe I just posted the news. Ginkgo Bioworks increases their stock ran when that news came out that Ginkgo had partnered with Google Cloud. Then we have got two pieces of news that came out today. Extra Biosciences to use Ginkgo Bioworks Agritech for product enhancement. Their Extractus crop protection product. And I don't know anything about it, but this is what got it going again. Let me see for disclosures. Anything new here? We got a bunch of 144s. What are 144s? Oh, right. Pretty much these tell you the standing holdings of each insider and when they got, and what they're doing. But as we've looked at before, you get a history of what they do. And these are sales June 15th, June 16th, June 20th of this year. He sold 3,968 shares each one of those days. I don't know why. I can't tell you, but it's bleeding. It is a bleed out for a long time.
Mhm.
And I'm going to presume that each one of these, this is dry to cabinet. There's another one.
Mhm.
So again, I don't fully understand those, but I'm saying, if you're in a company and you see that, you might want to do a little research, do some Googling. All you got to do is take the file and say Form 144 stock and just see what Google throws at you. You'll be amazed how little you need to read to educate yourself, at least for an idea of what value is to you. I think that basically covers everything for DNA, which that's a lot of stuff that's happened here recently. I want to look at that chart because she had a
Yeah,
blast off just a
for
couple
sure.
days ago.
Yeah, so this was the day you were talking about. You said Thursday, this past Thursday, the 24th. So it opened higher. It kind of gapped up in pre-market and came right back down. So not a lot, but this is what happened just recently. This was on Tuesday. And so let me just tell you, this level right here, this 215, that was already drawn. So whenever we were looking at, I wish I knew exactly what I
All
said,
right, right.
but we had this
I
we had
know.
this this wedge,
Mystery
we
lines
broke
on
out of
my
that.
charts too.
No. Like, I know I've looked at this because there were lines all over the place. So I'm looking at the next resistance. Anyway, so I'm looking at the 4 hour now. So I said something about the 215 level. I said that was a really important level to break. So this was the other day, Tuesday, it came up right above it. And look at this. It's been like a perfect little bull flag ever
Perfect
since.
call.
So that was just a perfect level, just absolutely perfect. It literally closed like at 216 that day.
Ding.
215. No, it closed at 215. Look at that. I had it right. That's perfect.
Doesn't
Okay,
it feel
so it
good?
does. It does. So that's great. So it looks amazing right now. Obviously, we've got one, two, three, almost four golden crosses coming up. So that's amazing. Looks really good on the 4 hour. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at this. So since Tuesday, we came up here and we've just kind of like we tested this line again, and then we've just kind of been bull flagging up. So it's running and it's got a
Yeah,
little bit increase in volume.
that's
Um,
running.
yeah. So Tuesday it ran kind of, Wednesday kind of just here and there, but today it's been running. So that's good. And increasing volume throughout the day. That's really, really good. So this is what it looked like today.
She
Yeah.
slowed down, but that's
Mhm.
growth now. She took a
Mhm.
surge like bamboo, and now she's just steady growing. And those are your safest investments. The ones that are rocking, all over the place, they fall just as fast as they climb. But that's a slow climb. You would
Yeah.
normally expect slow dips. It's more in control. That's looking lovely. That was a
Yeah, and it's
beautiful breakout, boy. Once she got over that 200, she had her mind set up
yeah.
to rock it off.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. This level was absolutely perfect. And when you were saying about the slow growth, I mean, it is holding this level as of Tuesday. So we'll see if it does come back and retest this. But other than that, like I think the
And
next
that's a
level
new
we would
level
see.
she's at right now. You can see going straight across. That's almost about where she fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. That's like beautiful.
Yeah, so this level was really important. So I'm glad that if someone was keeping an eye on that, that's awesome.
Well,
So
that comes from our viewers. They're always telling us, you got to look at ginkgo. You got to check out DNA,
yeah,
man.
this is looking great. So I think the next level we see is maybe 252 if it continues to hold this.
Thank you,
Otherwise,
Jason. You were right.
I like that one. Yeah,
All you
nice one.
people keep telling us to look at these DNA stocks. They are kicking every time we look at it. All right. No, it is not. I got that one ahead of the line again. No, it's Velmore's. Velmore's brought us BLMS. Velmore's always got interesting stocks. Stocks off of my radar. That's why I like Velmore. She brings me stuff I haven't seen before. All right. BLMS. Blumios. I like that name. Finished today under a penny. 0082. 12.5% gains on the middle tier of the OTC. At least you start getting some audited financials up here. On the pinks, you're not getting any validated information. On top of those audited financials, we're also getting a verified profile and transfer agent. This is your verified information being verified behind the scenes by the OTC markets, which is actually on the OTC. You can invest in the company, the people's website we're looking at here. So they look solid over here. I found news for the company. Their revenues, we'll take a look at those. They are up 30% sequentially and 84% year over year to 2.75 million. So they're growing quarter after quarter, year after year. That's growth. That's solid. Blumios completes a $23.5 million acquisition of leading gummy manufacturer.
Hmm.
What is it that they do? I'm thinking it's gummies, and gummies, believe it or not, are big business, especially now that we are coming up with other ways to make gummies without having to use hoofs of animals, which is the only way gummies were made for the longest time. Hoofs were ground up and that created the gumminess. Well, now we've got other things, so we don't have to be eating for vegans. I mean, even a vegan doesn't want to eat a hoof. I don't think even a steak eater wants to eat a hoof. Let me see. Hemp derived. Look at this. Blumios, a leading white label and private label manufacturer and wholesaler of hemp derived nutraceutical cosmetics and pet products, has acquired Infusions, a wholly owned subsidiary of Upexi. So I guarantee you, they're just your regular old gummies. Now, since they brought it up, I do want to bring this up because it was on my mind. I was going to forget about it. In case you folks haven't been keeping up, The Department of Health of our country, the United States, has issued a very strong request to the DEA to take marijuana off of the Schedule A, to make it decriminalized across the board so we can get banking, we can get crossing the borders inside the country, leaving the country, so we can get loans, tax deductions, all that stuff. Well, just that was just announced yesterday, I think it was. Cannabis is coming up, folks. Let me tell you, now's the time to be looking at cannabis. It's been taking a God blessed beating for 3 years. I abandoned most of my stocks because they had gone so far down. Look at Curaleaf, Tilray. Now, we are talking American cannabis. There's a lot of cannabis companies out there, but they're suffering too. And look, cannabis companies in Canada are going to have a synergy now working with their partners in America. We can't work with them. They can't work with us. We want to work together. We got deals like, I do believe it is Tilray and Afria. I think they've got a deal they've been holding on to for 3 years, waiting for the laws to pass, and they are ready to run. Every MSO in America will be synergizing all of their different states so they don't have to have a factory in every single state, a cultivation in every single state. They'll be able to streamline. Companies are going to become more value. Bottom lines are going to come way, way up when they get tax deductions. Right now would be a very good time to start doing your homework. Stocks that were at $300 are at under $10. Stocks that were at 80 are under $2. You need to be looking, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, most of these companies, at least tens of millions of dollars. They're solid. They've been working against the current. So now would be a good time to be looking at them. Now that I'm off that high horse, I love my cannabis. It's just been getting no love or respect in this country, and it's been very, 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 very frustrating. Let's see what else we can learn here. Relative volume is up a little bit, 830 to just under a million shares. Share structure, it's about a 50-50 split. There's about 50 million in the outstanding. They are getting a half, the insiders, whether that be institutions, management, hedge funds, and we get half, about 25 million, which isn't bad, Let's see for our disclosures. We've got a most recent 10Q there that we can jump into if you really want to know what's going on. A lot of these cannabis companies have made a lot of deals. I mean, you can go through the news trying to find them all, but they've got them all in the disclosure. So it just saves you time. And that's the only thing I see recent here. Did we cover everything? Was that the only piece of news we had? Let's see. Going back, Upexi announced the sale of select CBD assets for $23.5 million. Bringing on board some veterans for chief manufacturing. Revenues have increased. They have appointed a new sales director, and there's another financial right there. So it looks like we've pretty much covered everything here. What's this? Blumos developing new range of private label products. So they're already working white label. They're going to be working private label too. That's good. Heads and tails. So that's everything we've got here. Was there anything you wanted me to take a look at?
No, I'm just looking at this thinking, what in the world? Like, so the last, I
Go
don't
for it.
know. So like the last couple of months since like June on, was
Bring it up.
it's like it's just been yeah. So this is crazy to me. So we were in this consolidation area from like the end of last year up until like mid-March or so, and it's just kind of like, okay, it looks like, yeah, it fell a lot, but when I say a lot, I mean a lot, a lot. We're near a dollar, and now we're under a penny. That is an insane difference. Okay, I'm just looking at this like, wow. Okay, so let's blow this up. I'm on the 4 hour.
Yeah, that's, I do
This is
believe,
what's been
seriously, I
going on.
think you're talking near 1,000,000%.
Yeah, it's and
Honestly.
that would have been a loss if you had bought that and just held it. So I found the floor
No kidding.
finally. I
Thanks
found
for letting us know that. I wasn't sure. I was thinking of
sorry about
selling tomorrow.
So I found the floor finally at double zero
Wow.
32. Um, I blew that up and found it 0032. Now we're at 0084. So that's more than 100%.
Right. That's almost 200%
Yeah,
increase.
almost,
Almost.
almost,
From the
almost
floor,
from the
which means
floor.
nothing to the ceiling.
Right. So the thing is, the 200 MA and the EMA, they are up there at 60 something cents on the 4-hour chart. So I'm not going
Oh,
to even bother scrolling. That's why you don't see that purple line because
right.
we're so far down here. So that 200 is like the lagging
But
one. Okay, you can
that's
see
the
this.
weekly, right?
This is the 4-hour.
That's the 4 hour.
Yes. So
Okay.
like up
What's the
here,
1 hour look like? That should
1 hour?
make it look like it's breaking out over the 200. Oh, it doesn't even have a 200 yet.
No,
But
it's
it
far.
would be probably.
It's
That look.
down. It's at 11 cents. 1146 point
Oh
one one
my
four six.
God.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Even on the 1 hour, but on
So,
the 4 hour, it's like
honestly, I
60
don't know
something.
how much of a breakout you can get with the 200 that far up.
It's
I mean,
very
honestly,
far.
it's just too high. It's like trying to jump to the top of a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Who wants to try?
And that's why I usually bring up the larger time frames because when something like that is going on, we want to know, where's my 200? Oh, it's way up there. Well,
Wow.
why is it way up there? Well, this happened. So if you look at the smaller time frame, like the 1 hour, it does look like it broke out. I mean, we did have some large green candles, and we're
Yes,
still up
yeah.
here on the nine.
If
So
you got
that's
into
good.
it this week, you may have made a profit, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
got in any time before this week, I don't think you're there yet.
Oh wait, the floor is actually 0033. Sorry, I was like a thousandth of a cent off.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah,
This would
so
be an interesting company to do some research on, just going
yeah.
into seeing that their history and see why it fell. Maybe they sold something or somebody got dragged in front of the judge or there was a lawsuit. Seriously, for it to fall that far, I mean, it could be the economy. It could be, but that looks personal to me
Oh,
from a hundred
it's
dollars under a penny.
it's severe. I mean, yeah, I mean, we were up over I mean, this is crazy to me. That we're at way over a dollar
You
around
got
like
Mount Everest
last
there.
year. This is insane. So we're way down here at way under a penny. Well, not way under. We're just two
That just
thousandth of a cent away. So
Yeah, you've got to come in closer. That's just overwhelming to me.
it
I
is.
look
That's
at
why
that.
I want to see why we're way down here. The 200 is way up there. This is the 4 hour. Okay, so this is zoomed in pretty well. This is what we're looking at. But even from the floor until now, that's almost like you said, like between 1 and 200%. We'll say
So what's it look like
gain.
it's going to do this week?
Um, let me see. Well, the week is coming to an end, but so far, I mean, it has been coming up. This is the 1 hour, so
It
this is
looks like
what it.
it's bouncing off of a strong support right now.
So this was it. If that is
No, I
the
mean
support.
the price today looks like it hit it head on a support or resistance, as it
I
would
was gonna
be.
say, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
So
yeah, you know how it's like calling my dog a girl or a boy, her and him. I always get animals wrong, but I know who the dog is. I
yeah,
know who it is.
yeah. So this is the 30 minute. So we're just kind of like, eh. I mean, it's there. It's getting there. I mean, if you have some to throw at it, like I wouldn't let it
Well,
get.
she did stop today right at the center of that red bar. Is that a green bar
Yeah,
we're looking at?
it is. That's the 1 hour. So I don't know if this does after hours trading. Let me see something.
Well, what's a
Sorry.
5 minute look like?
5 minute.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Post market, no trades. It does not trade after hours. So a
Okay,
five
so
minute.
we're at a breakout point now, and it just isn't breaking out.
No,
It
it
got
didn't. It's
rejected
it's
seriously.
yeah, it's hugging onto this in the short time frame. So we
Is
kind
the
of like
50 all the way down there? It could be another day before it decides to break out, but I would
yeah.
watch it. Even though she's on a down, if you haven't gotten into it and you're looking for a play, I mean, being this low, it doesn't take much to make a gain. Go
Mm-mm,
from 0.008 to 0.12, you got yourself a 50% gain. And it
yeah,
can do that very easily with just the volume. So she's at a point now that she's
it's
worth
actually really
watching
good.
because she's trying, but she just
Yeah,
had a serious rejection there.
we're gonna have to hold over this 200 and ideally over 009 in my opinion. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, this is one to watch for sure. It's definitely I mean, like you said, those big moves like that can bring you hundreds of percent gain.
Yeah, if you're not looking at a long hold, it doesn't
Mhm.
look real promising for a long, unless you're into long holds. This one looks like it's
Yeah.
going to be a great long hold. You'll have it a long time. But if you're
Yeah.
trying to get back to those highs, that was, you
It's
know,
so far away. It's
that's
crazy to
medieval
look
dark
at.
ages. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
whole new time for us. Just play the market where it's at right now.
Right.
And right
Right.
now, she's trying to do something. A
It is.
piece of news comes out, they cut a deal. You could get yourself a nice run here just because we talked about it today. So thank you very much, Belmore. So we are now going to take a look at Brian Todoric's. I know I said it wrong. Brian's. This is PRZO. And it was brought to my attention because Taylor looked at the charts and she said this just came on the market,
Yeah.
which,
There's no
which gave me
chart.
a heads up to look at the news. And I did have it highlighted. I did right there. Let's see. They tell us back here on July 31st that the company was IPO'd at $7.8 million. Well, first off, I can tell you 7.8 million isn't a big IPO, which means they didn't sell very many shares, which means we're going to have a low float. You can just know that. I don't know. Is it a Chinese company? We'll find out. So they just came on the market. Now, I am really, I don't know if I should say excited. I'm very curious. When we get done with this show, I'm going to dive into this. I'm going to look at it more. Parazero received second order from one of the world's largest automotive manufacturers. And there was another one here. Parazero receives order from an air taxi and cargo drone solutions company. Now, I dove into one of these pieces of news, and they were talking about parachutes for drones. Drone taxis are becoming popular now in inner cities, going from tops of building to tops of buildings. Well, that's a long fall, and there's a lot of people down there no matter where you drop. So there needs to be safety. Well, this company's on board, and I don't know everything that they got. They've got various products, but these products, these parachutes, are selling like hotcakes right now. And they got lots of orders here, and they're coming from different places. They've got one here in Latin America. They've got a new DJJ model. So it sounds very interesting to me. On the cusp. Who else is doing it? Do they have competition? I really don't know. Relative volume today, not much interest, lost 50%, dropping from 1.2 million to 653,000. Thing that comes to mind right now, Bloomberg, I think it was this week, said that all the markets, all the stock markets are running on 17% of normal healthy volume. Folks, if it was blood, we'd all be in the hospital bed in a coma. Somehow the market is still flexing, but that is what's here. So if everything looks low, it's because there's no fluids here. Think of all those reservoirs in California, all the brown lines coming down. That's the way our market looks right now. Share structure, low float, told you. Outstanding share count is 3.3 million. Being an IPO, there was probably a lot of interest by the insiders when it first IPO. They wanted to make money on this thing. So they probably have a nice holding. So we're going to have a very small float. I'm sure it's going to be closer to 2 million, but it's not going to be over 3.3 million, which is outstanding. Financials, do they actually have anything? Guess they weren't. It's not a startup. They're actually running, right? Did 560,000, about a half a million last year, keeping about half of that. Quarterly, they don't tell us anything there. Do they give us any new quarterly reports? Was there anything over here? No, I don't see anything about money over here. So looking at their disclosures, probably going to be one of these 6Ks. You can use Form 6Ks for a lot of different things. 8Ks, 10Ks, 20Fs. They can all be used for filings in one way or another. So it can be a little tricky. I think that pretty much covers it.
Um,
Disclosures?
was there anything around the 7th of August?
I can check. I don't know if we go back that far. Well, yeah, let's see.
August 7th? It was, yeah, this month.
Uh, the third was the closest we got, and it was a deck, a presentation, which
Okay.
is normally a good thing. So there you go, folks.
Well,
We
yeah.
just brought this up from the FWP from February 15th. You want to know about the company? This is from the investor standpoint. If you were to go to a conference, real easy stuff. Tells you everything they do, how much money they're making, who they're working with, who's talking about them. So right there's your homework. Now we're going to run over to Taylor so she can show us that chart.
Yeah, well, here's the entire chart on the 1 hour time frame, if you can believe it. Literally, this is when it started, and here we are now. So I just marked off some levels like our
We
ceiling,
have seen a lot of
our
IPOs do that,
floor.
especially here in the last 3 months. That is exactly what all the charts look like from
Yeah.
anybody trying to IPO right now. It's a shame.
Yeah, so this is the ceiling, and then we've got the floor, and then I marked off where these two candles opened and closed. This was a lot of volume that came in. This was Monday, the 7th of August. So pre-market to market open, we had a big giant, like huge, from pre-market up to all the way to 294, give or take, and then right back down to about halfway between the high. So if you put on your fibs, you could see that. And then we just kind of bled off until we had another spike, not as big, but open and close. This is pre-market hours, so you would have to be trading this pre-market to get in and out of this. So right now we're just kind of in this like consolidation area. It's not holding over this level, obviously, because we're way down here now. So I'll go down to the 15 and put on Hakanashi so we can see it a little better. So this is the 15-minute. So on the 15, we're kind of
My
just right
bad.
there at the 200. Oh, you're good. So, so on the 15, we're just right there on the 200. It's not holding this level very well. It came up here and it's like obviously just bleeding off. You can see the volume's kind of lowering too. But this is the floor down here at 94 cents. So if you did get in here, if it loses this, no. I would look for this to come up above and hold a 137. Personally, I like that level. It looked really good on the 1 hour. So right now it's just bleeding off. It's like it's holding here. If this can kind of cross over, maybe, but this is a death
Well,
cross.
you
It's
know,
not
it
good.
is. We always look for a test, a bounce. After you break
Yeah,
out, you got to come down and see if it's strong enough to run off of and dive. So she's doing what we would expect. And look at our 200. That's coming up.
yeah.
That's
This is
going to
on the
give her some
15.
extra push.
So we'll see if it does that. So it did come back and did retest that level at 137 a couple of times, and then now
I
it
don't like
totally.
the 50-day on that chart. That's a heavy headbanger there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. This is the 9 here, and this is the 21, this is the 50. Not
Yep.
looking too good. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I mean, it's brand new, so there's really not that much to look at. I mean, just the
Right.
last
And,
few days,
and
so.
and that's not a bad setup. I mean, she's not perfect, but she is on the 200's going the right direction. She's got a
Mhm.
bounce, a couple bounces on it. She's not under it. So I mean,
Yeah.
she's definitely worthy. And if she does get some respect, and remember, we're working with very little volume. So it's tough
Yeah.
to get these things I mean, when volume comes back in, the markets are going to really change because companies will be treated as they should be. Right now, there's just not enough money to go around to everybody. So we're
Yeah.
picking and choosing and bouncing.
And it's
So
brand new. It's gonna need some news, but I would
yeah,
say if it doesn't hold this, I would say this would be a nice pickup area around, 113 to 118. Um, if not, then we'll see if it can find some support down here. Otherwise, that's what it's looking like.
yep, it
Kind
looks like a
of,
testing zone.
yeah,
So put
and
it
on
on your watch list if you're
yeah,
interested in it. She's at least worth your time. Time will tell if she's worth your money.
right.
All right, jumping on over to Stock Gurus BIXT. Oh, BIXT. Yes, we did look at I just covered BIXT the other day, and I did mention in it. I did. I even brought up a picture. I did an interview with the CEO of BIXT back in May of this year, or was it last year? God, when you're this old, time really flies. Take my word for it. But we did a interview with them, and the company's got a couple different drugs. One is helping working with viruses and COVID, and they found a way to uh, work against COVID in a whole different way than everybody else is. And it went into a peer journal review, which means other doctors are reading it and they impress the other doctors. Most journal reviews get 10, 18, 20 views, out of all the doctors, not a lot. Theirs got something like, oh, I don't know, it was 200 or something like that. It was a massive amount. The other thing is they got a drug which can help stroke victims. And this is very, very important. I've seen people on strokes, I've been with people as they have them. A stroke happens one of two ways in the brain. You either have a hemorrhage and you bleed out, and there's not much you can do there. That's normally the worst of all situations. Or you have a blockage, you have an aneurysm, and a clot forms in your brain and the blood can't get around it. So no oxygen gets to that side of the brain, and that side of the brain starts to die. Without oxygen, it dies. You can't even recover it. And people come back half back when they end their strokes. Well, they've come up with a drug that makes oxygen, say it's this big as a pinhead, nanoparticles. So this oxygen can squeeze around the tiny areas where a big old oxygen cell could never get through. So oxygen gets around, and you're getting oxygen to the brain while you're getting that person to the hospital and you're getting things taken care of. So that's a big deal with this company. It's a drug that it could make a big, big difference. And I do believe that they are in phase 2, phase 3 trials right now with it. And they've got other drugs they're working with. All of them are advancing. They got people investing money. Things are looking good for the company. I can't remember everything about them. They're on the middle tier, so they've got financials you can trust, verified profile and transfer agent, independent directors. We talk about this a lot on the show. The only reason I know this needs to be listed here is when they have plans to uplist. You must have independent directors to uplist. Now, they may have used them to come from the pink here recently. I haven't gone through all the news. I don't know, but they're sitting there, so that's something to consider. Relative volume today, up from 55,000 to 89,000. Share structure, not bad. 132 million outstanding. Insiders got the lion's share of 106 million, and we get about 25 million of that. Not a super low float, but not bad. Financials, they have absolutely nothing coming in. They're an R&D, drug and research and development. As long as they're not putting more shares on the market and getting money from me and you, I'm okay with the R&D. Most of the time, though, they just have to keep putting shares out there. That's how they fund their operations, unless they have big investors. And I think that pretty much because of it. All right, almost missed this. We've got a lot of Form 4s that came out August 24th. One is from the CEO, the president, I do believe, could be the CFO. And then we got 3 directors. They're all purchases. The directors bought 40,000 shares each on August 4th, I think it was, at 15 cents. About 2 weeks later, the CEO gets on board. He buys himself a 500,000 shares at more than double the price now, 32 cents. Didn't slow him down. He bought a 500,000 of them. So the point being, they're all insider buys all at the same time, not small, and we don't know exactly why. Something is in their heads. That's what we're trusting. That's riding their shirt tails. And that's pretty much why I pointed it out the other day. So that's everything that's going on over here. What does that chart look like today?
Um, it looks wild. Okay, so
Wild
there we
thing. I
go.
think I love you. I'm
Ah,
playing with
oh,
you.
there we go. We're
Me and her are playing tag with our
so
fingers.
so I wanted to find the floor of this. The floor is at 0006. That just blows my mind. The the
She's
like
not OTC, folks. That's what she means. She mostly trades major exchange stocks. The
yeah.
OTC are like cats without fur. I mean, it's a really strange creature. You can't help but stare at it and go,
Well,
I know, it's just weird to see that.
considering just in March, I mean that wasn't that long ago. It was up to 105 from 0006. That's just mind-boggling. The most recent low was
You
about
can get
12
rich.
cents.
You get on those at the right time.
Yeah, I
A
can't even imagine.
10,000% gain from, say, 001 to 10 cents can get you $10,000 for
That
every
is
$100
crazy.
bill.
That is crazy to me. So it looks like we're approaching this kind of like this consolidation area. This started in like last, uh, almost a year ago, up until about May, and then we just rode this all the way down. Someone shorted the crap out of this thing, clearly. We did hit some support and we are
I
coming
like
back
that.
up. So we are headed into this area again. So it's going to be really interesting when we do come up here because the area I marked off is right near the
Uh,
200 on the daily chart. This is the daily.
Yeah,
So that is actually really interesting to me because this is a really important zone right here to get into from what I've been seeing just like
it's a
as a
hot
whole.
zone. It's a
Yeah,
hot zone.
it is.
Absolutely needs to be watched if you're interested in this stock.
Yeah,
The
definitely check
charts are
this
set
out.
up for activity. What it's going to do, well, that's what we're going to watch for. But that is nice.
Isn't that? My gosh, I
Oh,
mean,
that
nothing
picture
but green.
perfect. I'm
Yeah,
drooling.
this is beautiful. So this is the 4 hour, and we're coming up here. Lots of like green volume, like it's increasing
Perfect
too.
setup.
This looks really good. I want to get it into this zone though. So let's see what happens above like around 36, 37 cents.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Break
keep
that,
an eye
and
on
we
this.
could see some good, strong activity.
Yeah, and it would get a lot of volume. I mean, look what happened. This was in March. It wasn't that long ago. Went all the way up
Wow.
over $1. And if you were in the bottom of this 0006 to $1, well, how much is that?
You know, I did that just the other day. I
That
got
is
into
wild to me.
EFSH. She had news come out the other day about a patent or a drug. I can't remember. I, but I got into it, and she was running pre-market and took a dip. So I averaged down. Then she fell hard, and I drew a line, and wouldn't you know it, it was a floor, just like you've been showing us. Find that
Mhm.
low spot. Well, I bet my money that if she bounced off that floor, that was going to be as low as she went, and I really averaged down on that. Well, I don't know if you saw what happened to EFSH today. Oh man, she went from I averaged down near 8 cents, I think, and it went to
My
18
gosh.
cents today. It was wild. So, and it was looking just like that. It was a perfect, just a nice setup. So that looks like she needs to be watched. But
Yeah.
always remember, profit takers are out there right now. Rockets come down just as fast as they go up. Only get into something after you have confirmation. Don't try to get the most out of every run. See if it's running the direction you want and maybe get out before it starts changing directions. Get used to taking gains that you want. 20%, maybe it goes to 30, but you got your 20 and didn't have to sweat that last 10% that went for 3 hours. Take your gains that are easy and quick. Move on to the next play. Fret stress, man, that's something that is worth some of your value. I
I
promise you.
mean, it's not perfect, but we almost have like a cup and handle thing going. Just about.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at the little handle coming down right now. How did I miss
Yeah.
that?
So, yeah, like I said, it's not perfect, but, you know,
It's the
let's
start. It's normally about 25%, 30%
wrap.
down,
Well,
right?
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Nice drawing there. You broke the handle.
My mouse got caught.
All
So,
right, we got a couple minutes
yeah,
left here, and I
I know.
see one ticker left. I think that's all that's there. Yes. All right. Oh, someone brought up Tilray. We already talked about cannabis. Tilray is definitely one to be taking a looking at. I think
That's the
she's
last
in
one.
the top 5. All right. Let me see here. We were going to look at Deathfly. You got me up there?
Yeah.
Great. I didn't have it. All right. We've talked about Deathfly, DFLI, a lot. This is a company that makes a lithium ion battery, not for electric cars, but for your car, for your pickup, for your RV, your boat, for power out in the woods. They make them for all the other uses, not the electric cars.
Oh, I
Well, they also make power banks so that you can store energy. So when it gets low, you've got power. You don't have to worry about it. And then they hook these up to grids, and the grids are hooked up to the low production electric current. So you're with the electric company, and all of you are then working in harmony and working together. And this company is building all of that. The battery started, that's your bricks. They're now building power banks, are their walls. They're going to hook them into the power grids, which is going to be the roof, and they're going to have this huge structure that they're in control of. So let's see what sort of relative volume we've got here. Oh, I like that fly for a long hold. When I speak of a long hold, I don't mean a couple months, folks. I'm talking years down the road, maybe 10, maybe 5 or 2, but I don't mean this week, this month, not this year. So if you're in it for a long hold and you said it was gonna, I still believe. Long holds you shouldn't be looking at on a weekly basis. I mean, check it up to see if there's some horrible thing that's occurred. But if it's, standard operating procedure, leave it alone. Come back every 6 months and look at it. It's a long hold. You've done your homework. Just keep up with it then. But you don't have to let every dip get you all flustered, and don't get excited about every run. Over the long period, it's growing. That's what we're talking about. And I still believe DeathFly has a market that she's going to be grabbing up through the years. We need more power. We go electric. The electric companies cannot handle all the electric cars. People are going to want to charge their own electric cars. And you know what electric companies can charge? It's not going to be as cheap as everybody thinks, especially when electricity keeps going up and up and there's no competitors. You've got to pay whatever they charge. Wouldn't you like to have your own power that's free that you can put into your car? Power banks are going to become very, 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 very popular. Another high horse. Thank you very much. Share structure. 45 million outstanding. Financials. They should be making money. They're climbing 78 to 86 million over the last couple of years. All we've got is year ends 2022 and 2023 March, and they're virtually the same 18. So we would have to do some more diving in to see what's going on here. Looks like they must have another financial out right now. We've got a Form 4 here that just came out yesterday. How's management feel? Woohoo! Management's buying shares. Buying on the dip, are they? They play their own stock too. So when it has a real bad dip and they know it's at a good price, you can count on them buying their shares if it has value. We've got it's not much, but he's adding. He's got 300 shares he's added here at two purchases. One, what the heck? One was in 2023 February. The other one was October of 2022. And that's how long it took them to get around to filing this. You got to pay attention to dates, folks. They do make a lot of difference. We got an S8 here. S8 doesn't normally mean they're putting shares on the market, doesn't it?
Hey, do
Looks
you do
like
you happen to know do you know when we last looked at this? Been a little
last,
while.
last 30 days, maybe 30 days ago, I'm
Yeah, okay.
guessing.
I'm just asking because I got some levels marked off and it actually did what we thought. So interesting.
Looks like they're going to put 1.7 million shares on the market, which isn't very, very much. I mean, I wouldn't cry about that. How many shares do they have? 45 million. So it's a little dilution. It's a little dilution, but you got to ask yourself, if the company's making money, why do they need a public offering? I don't understand that. Now you can look over here at their authorized shares here. Oh, they don't tell us. Is this a Canadian company? Authorized shares is how many shares they have in the bank. It's equity for them. And that's how many they can put on the shelves and sell. That's the open market. Management can buy them. Me and you can buy them. Well, if they hit the shelves, that's open market. That's the float. Well, everything left in the bank, they can use as money. They can make deals with it. A lot of times they increase their authorized shares when they have plans of making deals. Or if they're in financial desperation and just greedy SOBs, they increase their authorized shares to just keep putting more shares on the market, taking our money, and they'll be putting out news all the time about things they're planning, things they see in the future for the company, but they're not doing anything. They're talking. And that's what you've got to learn about these pinks and even some of the QBs. Talk, talk, talk. They can fill your head with some beautiful dreams, even nice pictures. Look, if they haven't got any companies aligning with them, why not? You got an idea that big, somebody would be on board that had money besides me. So always take that into consideration. All right, let's take a look at the chart of DFLI.
Okay. So
Contrary to what I said, I like the stock, but I don't own it. I can only invest money in so many directions, folks. I've got a few long holds, and this isn't one of them, but I do like the stock, and they didn't pay me to say that, just in case.
okay.
It's on the
So
record.
yeah. So the last time we looked at this, we were seeing this bounce off the 200. I think it must have been in this area. So it had to have been coming up here. This is the 4 hour, by the way. And I had that circled. All this I already had up. So none of this is brand new that I've added. So we had this like loading zone area. So here's what happened. We had an earnings report come out on Monday, the 21st. So last week.
Mhm.
So in after hours and pre-market the next day, we went from, $1.90 something, and all the way down to this floor in this area. It's not exactly the floor, but it's in this loading zone that I was saying. Like this is like where it consolidated. So it came
So
all
it's
the way
probably about
down
20
there.
cents.
Yeah, it dropped from, let's see, it closed out the day around
Just roughly,
dollar
just
nine,
roughly. No,
around
nobody's gonna hold you to it.
around $1.90, $1.92, down all the way to $1.45. So
About
yeah,
40 cents, 45
yeah,
cents.
40, 50 cents. Yeah,
Yeah, that's almost 40% drop.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, but it stayed in this area.
Yep.
Okay, so it
Yep.
stayed right in this consolidation area that we saw back here in June. So
Beautiful.
it actually respected these levels that we pointed out the last time we looked at this.
And that's one thing that what you're showing right there, those are perfect buy opportunities. Those are the
Yeah.
floors that are real solid. Now, no one's promising anything, but
Oh
she's
no.
showing you over and over again that when they come down to that
Yeah.
floor that you've
Right here.
identified, that's
Hmm.
normally a great cheap buying price before it starts getting respect and back on
Yeah,
course.
I mean, it's just
So,
a few cents here. I mean, all the way down to like $1.45 to $1.55. I mean, it's like a 10-cent little
yeah,
area that it was in for a while, and it came down and respected this level beautifully and stayed in it for a little bit, like the rest of the week, and then started coming up on Monday, pretty much up all the way to $1.89. So I mean, if you got into this loading zone around even $1.50, $1.55, right when it was in this shaded area, um, I mean, it went up to a high of like $1.89 just a few days later.
yeah, we got another cup and handle there.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it does look like one. Let's see if I can actually draw it this time. There we go. And then
Yeah.
that's the
Now,
idea
now
that it
you
does
didn't
this.
see it, but one of the first stocks we were looking at on your long chart, there was a perfect cup and handle that miserably failed.
Yeah,
Wow, what was that first one that was just on a downtrend forever? And it was like,
yeah,
look at that. But this, that is a setup right up underneath the 200. Oh, would that be a beautiful
yeah.
breakout?
It
It
would
gets
for
that would be
sure.
a nice one.
Yeah, because it did test it and respected it for a while until it didn't and then completely came back down to this level. It's really been respecting these levels. I really like this chart,
Yeah,
to
the
be
chart
honest
is
with you.
setting up nice. The
I
company
like
itself
this.
has value. They've got a legitimate product that is growing. The need for it is growing. So everything looks
I believe that.
opportunistic right now from this vantage point. If you're in the stock, this looks to me to be a good time to average down. That's my opinion, 100%. If I owned it, I'd be averaging down around now. If not already, that buy zone down there, I'd
Yeah.
have probably recognized that
So what
floor. I'm
yeah.
always looking for the floor.
Yeah, definitely look in this area. If it comes down in anywhere in here would be a fine place to buy it, in my opinion. Like between 145 and 155, excellent. Now, one thing to note about this is it does move on earnings a lot, and I might have mentioned that the last time we talked about it. So it had this earnings report, and it got a red, not good, wasn't good. So that's why we had that big drop, like you said, 40% or
Ooh.
so. So that's what happened there, and we have another one coming up in November. So, I mean,
What does the previous financial look like?
the previous one was good.
And how did it jump?
So it went, let me
What
look
was
at
the
it.
chart activity?
Let's see. So the last earnings here.
Doesn't
So
look good.
let me get to the regular candles. So I don't know what happened here, but
Yeah, yeah, it just
so
doesn't look good.
this didn't really do anything. So this Okay, so it did go all the way up to 363. So here's what happens when it has a good earnings report, it will jump after hours. So when they reported, so this means evening, so evening time on Monday. So all of
Right.
this is after hours activity. So it closed here, jumped up here after hours, or whatever. It went
Yeah, that's the trick when you're
that
if
happened
you like
after
to catch
hours,
jumps, you follow stocks that have financials after market closes, then
right?
you have fewer traders, so the volatility is much stronger, and you can get some huge jumps that you need to get out of in 10 or 15 minutes because they are so short lived. But you look at it the next day and go, oh, I missed it. So watch those financials after market hours. You got 4 hours to play. As soon as they come out with the financials, it'll jump. Don't worry about missing the first bar. Get in on the second or
Yeah,
third
so
bar.
That was like after hours or pre-market. I can't really tell you right now, but it did move a lot. It didn't look like it when you just looked at the regular chart, but
Right.
so it did move. I mean, this thing does move a lot on earnings. So from here to here, I mean, it
That's the
stayed
one
within
thing
this
that,
level though. So I mean, it
looking
does
at the long
respect these.
chart, it's deceptive. You don't realize how much movement is actually going
That's
on because you're
why I
seeing a
looked down, and then
big picture.
I I always move into the candles too, so you can really see, like, right here, you can see what happened here. That was uh, the one this latest one, sorry. The previous one, it did move, but it came right back down, but it did have a lot of movement. It just you can't really tell just by
Right.
looking at it. So,
But
yeah,
we
so
haven't got a
that's good.
financial for what? Another 3 months.
November, yeah. So it's approximate, but it says expected Monday, November 13th.
So
So,
if you hold it, you'll be watching for that. If you don't
yep,
hold it, there's other catalysts between now and then. But
yep,
now would be a time to do your research. She's in the buy zone right now. She's also on a setup. She's got a potential cup and handle. There's a lot of things to look at right now. So she's not a waste of your time. I can
mhm,
say that much.
yep,
All right, folks, we are over time. We are
mhm,
over time, and I appreciate your time. Taylor, I appreciate your time. Time is obviously the biggest commodity we have. You never know how much of it you really have. Unlike a
absolutely.
bank account or authorized shares where they give you a final number, we don't know. So don't take it for granted, folks. I don't take yours for granted. I seriously appreciate your time. It's the only reason I do this. Well, folks, we will see you next week, same time, same place. Taylor is going on vacation next week, so we'll have somebody else. I don't know
Someone is
who it's
here.
going to be yet,
Yep,
but I guarantee you, watching their chart ability is different than mine. We all chart
we're
differently,
all
so
different. Yep,
you'll get
it'll
to
be
look
good.
at something different from them, pick up their styles. We all take notice. Six guys look at a pretty woman. We're all looking at something different. That's the way it is. So we will see you next week. And Taylor, you have fun next week.
I
I'm not
will.
going to say drink one for me. I'm going to say drink two.
Okay.
See you, folks.
Bye.